Hello everybody, I'm Gamester522 and welcome to a very special birthday video. Now this right here is something I've been wanting to do for a really long time, so I apologize for if this might not be your typical video, but this is something I've always wanted to do, and I guess my birthday is a good time to do it. So I'm going to do a tier list of every single Mega Man game that there is. Keep in mind, I am going to be leaving out like ROM hacks or fan games, and also like of course 8-bit deathmatch, because it's not really an official thing. And I'm also leaving out things like Mega Man Soccer, Super Adventure Rockman. But yeah, it's essentially pretty much all the Mega Man games that I have played, so bear that in mind. Alright, no more wasting time, let me just make this tier list. So you guys just tell me what you think in the comments or whatever the hell, and we'll just get right down to it. So we'll start off with the classic series first. First up, we have Mega Man 1. Mega Man 1 is the very start of the series. It was a bit rocky, but it was a good start nonetheless. So we're going to drop that into B. Next up, we got Mega Man 2. Definitely a huge improvement from Mega Man 1, and probably the one that everybody knows the most of, and often considered by many to be the best Mega Man game. So, but I played it a lot, so I'm going to put it up here in the SA rank. This up here is just the good shit. Anyway, now we're going to move on to Mega Man 3. Not as good as 2, but not as bad as 1, so we're probably going to put that like right there in between the two of them. Next up, we got Mega Man 4. This is where the sequels are going to start coming into play. Mega Man has the charge shot now, alongside the slide that he got in Mega Man 3, which is definitely better. So we're probably going to put 4 right behind 2, at least. Now Mega Man 5. Mega Man 5. This one, it came out the same year I was born, so I kind of have a bit of an attachment to it. It was also pretty fun. But yeah, honestly, it's just another sequel, that much be said. I'm actually going to probably put it right here behind Mega Man 3. Next up is Mega Man 6. This one kind of feels like the weakest of the NES games, though it was good, don't get me wrong, because of the Mega Man transformation, so it had that going for it. But we're going to go ahead and put it right in front of Mega Man 1, like right here. Now, before we move on to the Super Nintendo era, we're going to go ahead and knock out the Game Boy Mega Man games. First one being Mega Man World 1 for the Game Boy. This one is kind of sketchy, but it's also really hard as shit. But it's alright, but then again, it's not recommended for any new person to jump in. So it's definitely just like a handheld title, to say the least. So I'm going to put that right here in C. Next up, we have Mega Man 2 for the Game Boy. Very first Mega Man game I played, and it's probably the best Mega Man game for anyone to start out with Mega Man, in my opinion. So I'm actually going to put this right up here, right above 2, just because it just means that much to me. Next up, Mega Man 3 for the Game Boy. This is honestly my least favorite one. The difficulty for Mega Man 3 for the Game Boy is insanely high, so I'm actually going to have to put this. It did introduce Punk, which I do have to give it that, but unfortunately, because of its absurd difficulty, I'm going to have to put it in the D rank. Next up is Mega Man 4 for the Game Boy. This one is fantastic because it introduces probably one of the best boss themes in Mega Man history, which is the Wily Golem boss theme. But yeah, just like the other games, it is kind of like a carbon copy of like taking Robot Masters from the NES games. But it is definitely better, so I am probably going to put that. I'm definitely going to put that probably above Mega Man 4 at least. Just probably because of the Wily Golem theme. Next up, Mega Man 5 for the Game Boy. This is something different. It was the first time outside of the NES series of Mega Man games, they decided we're going to make brand new Robot Masters, and we're going to make brand new stages and brand new themes. So Mega Man 5 for the Game Boy is definitely something that is worth playing. It is a fantastic Mega Man game, so I'm going to actually put it up here with in the PA rank. Granted, I also want to get this out of the way, I'm pretty sure if they remade Mega Man 5 for the Game Boy with Mega Man 11's engine and called it Mega Man 12, I'm pretty sure nobody would complain about that. Alright, now that we're done with the Game Boy titles, let's go ahead and move on to the Super Nintendo titles. And right here we have Mega Man 7. Mega Man 7 looks and plays fantastic. Its difficulty is definitely more on the harder side, so I am going to have to at least probably put it I'm probably gonna have to put it at least above Mega Man 3. Next up, Mega Man 8. Love Mega Man 8. Probably one of the better classic games in my opinion, just because it looks great, the music is incredible, the bosses are fantastic, the difficulty is relatively fair. We have jump, jump, slide, slide, but let's all just get over that for a minute, shall we? And I'm actually gonna say that Mega Man 8 is gonna go up here in the GA level, just about. Next up, we're going to move on to Mega Man and Bass for the Game Boy Advance and Super Nintendo. Mega Man and Bass was definitely something different. In my opinion, it is probably better than Mega Man 8, but to be fair, if you play this game with Bass first, you're going to have a hell of a hard time playing as Mega Man, because this game, you would say this game is built for Bass, but it kind of isn't. So yeah, it's definitely a hard game. It's probably one of the hardest classic Mega Man games that there is. But I'm actually gonna put this probably right above Mega Man 2 and right below Mega Man 2 for the Game Boy, just between 2 and 2, because why not? Next up, Mega Man and Bass 2, Challenger from the Future for the Wonder Swan. You guys have seen this. This game is honestly, I do enjoy myself playing this game. I get laughs out of it, but I'm not gonna bullshit you guys on this one. No, this game is terrible. It's just flat out bad. So this one's just gonna go down here in E. So we're just gonna let that sit there, let it set for a minute. All right, and now before we move on to the more modern NES Mega Man games, we're gonna go ahead and take a step back to the PlayStation and look at Mega Man Battle and Chase. This is a Mega Man racing game. It is kind of fun. I do enjoy it, but it's definitely very niche. It's not something that a whole lot of people would have ever experienced. Normally, my experience with the Battle and Chase game was through the Mega Man X collection for the PlayStation 2 and the GameCube. So it's definitely something not a lot of people played, but I did enjoy it. But I am going to probably put it on like the lower end of the B tier here. Of rank B. Alright, now moving on, Mega Man 9. You guys have heard it, I've said it several times. Mega Man 9 I consider probably the best classic Mega Man game, so it's definitely getting a spot right up here in UH, most definitely. Alright, and then next up we have Mega Man 10. It's definitely trying to continue the NES trend. They did end up adding bass, and you can also play as Proto Man. Also, like, a really cool instance of choosing to play the game with either character. And the difficulties were definitely fair, in my opinion. If you're playing hard mode, you are in for a very hard time. But yes, Mega Man 10 is honestly a very solid game. I would say it's probably right beneath Mega Man 8, at least. Alright, and now finally coming up on the last of the more recent Mega Man games, we have Mega Man 11. Mega Man 11 is the first Mega Man game we've gotten in it's the first Mega Man game we had gotten in like 7 years since the Mega Man Zero collection came out on the DS, which was the last Mega Man game that they had ever released. So it was nice to see it. Granted, I'm pretty sure they only made this game because Mighty Number 9 failed, but nonetheless, they did a fantastic job with Mega Man 11, and I love it. So we're definitely going to put Mega Man 11 probably right here beneath Mega Man 5 for the Game Boy. It's a fantastic game. And now for a remake from the classic series, we have Mega Man Powered Up for the PSP. This is literally just a remake of Mega Man 1 for the NES. The one thing that really captivated me with it was its stage creation. Because ever since I started playing like Mega Man X for the Super Nintendo, I've always wondered, why can't we have a Mega Man game where you can make your own levels? And Mega Man Powered Up did just that. And I just fell with it. And I probably put more hours into Mega Man Powered Up just screwing around and making stages than I ever did really on any other Mega Man title. So Mega Man Powered Up, it's definitely got that weird art style that not everybody is a fan of, and it was also a PSP game, so that definitely really hurt its sales potential. So but it is still a solid game regardless. I'm actually going to put it right behind Mega Man 10, at least. You know what? No, we'll move it above Mega Man 10. You know what? No, never mind. We'll move that back. Actually, on second thought, we'll just bring it down a tier and just put it right in front of Mega Man 2 for the Game Boy. Alright, with that, the classic series is done. Now, continuing the classic universe, we're going to be moving on to the Mega Man X games. And the first game we got, as I mentioned earlier, Mega Man X1 for the Super Nintendo. Mega Man X1 is, as we all know, probably one of the greatest video games ever made, just because it literally brought so much to the table and improved and also improved on the game series mechanics in so many ways that I don't know, you just can't put it into words. Mega Man X is a phenomenal game. Everybody talks about it. Everybody always comes back to talking about it. Everybody's played it, and everybody knows everything about this game, and we all love it. So Mega Man X, you're definitely going up here above Mega Man 9 in the UH category. Now, before we move on, let's actually talk about the remake of Mega Man X, which is Mega Man Maverick Hunter X for the PSP. Now, this was just a 2.5D remake of Mega Man X for the PSP. Now, unfortunately, since it was for the PSP, that really hurt its sales. But in my personal opinion, I think that Maverick Hunter X is way better than the original. I mean, a lot of you probably are going to disagree with me on that, but it's just great. I just think the biggest problem this game had was probably with what system it's on. So, unfortunately, I think it's better, but I'm going to have to at least put it... I am going to have to... You know what? If I say it's better, then it would be above Mega Man. It would be above Mega Man X. So, yeah, what am I talking about? Alright, next up, we got Mega Man X2, continuing the Super Nintendo Mega Man X games. X2 felt pretty solid. Again, you're just continuing the sequels of the games. And Mega Man X2 wasn't too bad. I did like its armor, and the weapons were cool, and I did like the robot masters. I did like the Mavericks. But of course, as you know, you can't really compare this game to Mega Man X1, unfortunately. So we're definitely gonna probably have to put this one probably above Mega Man 8, like right here in GA. Next up, we have Mega Man X3, probably my least favorite Mega Man X game, just because this game was made in roughly like 8 or 9 months. And there are a bunch of bugs that often get exploited in speedruns. On top of the fact the game's difficulty is absurd, I feel like you take way too much damage when playing this game. And there's just a very huge margin for error. Not to mention, this game is pretty much not designed to play low percent. So it's definitely my least favorite. So I'm actually going to have to put Mega Man X3 probably down here at the very end of B tier, if I'm being honest. Mega Man X4. Now we're moving on to the PlayStation Mega Man X titles. Now, Mega Man X4 was a huge step up. The same thing as Mega Man 7 went from Mega Man 8, but multiply that by a factor of 4. No pun intended. Listen, Mega Man X4 is a fantastic game. It also lets you you can play the entire game with just 0 now. In Mega Man X3, you could just switch to 0 and then switch back to X when the boss comes around. But Mega Man X4 lets you play exclusively as 0 or X. It is a fantastic game, and it also has Magma Dragoon, so it definitely puts it high up there. So Mega Man X4, I honestly do say, is probably better than Mega Man X1, so it's definitely going up here in the UH spot. Next up, Mega Man X5. This one got... I remember I talked with people about this one a lot, and the game's design, it just rips a bunch of assets from Mega Man X4. So, yeah, you can understand why it just feels like reusing assets just to get a quick game out the door. But to be honest, this game did have an amazing finale, because this was supposed to be the last X game in the series, and then Inafune would go and work on the Mega Man Zero series. But they ended up making another game behind his back, but we'll get to that in a minute. So we have Mega Man X5. It's a pretty solid game. I still like Mega Man X5. I still think it's good, but I do understand that it's not as great. So I'm actually going to probably put Mega Man X5 right above Mega Man X2, because I would prefer playing X5 over X2. Now, next up we have Mega Man X6. As I was saying earlier, this game was made without Inafune's consent behind his back, because the Capcom wanted to see how much they could see if there was still interest in the franchise. On top of the fact that Mega Man X6 came out a full year after the PlayStation 2 had launched. So it was definitely, basically a what the fuck are you doing kind of moment. And not to mention, the game's levels were definitely rushed. It It's a very lackluster game, but then again, there are people who still consider it their favorites. I enjoy playing X6, but to be fair, I'm aware of all the issues that the game has. So this game, it's probably going to have to go on the lower end. It's probably going to have to at least go right below. It's probably going to at least have to go right below Mega Man 1 for the NES. Now, before we move on to the PS2 X games, let's go ahead and talk about the Game Boy Mega Man X games. First off, Mega Man Xtreme. This is a very fun portable game to play. I honestly do love playing this. I probably played Mega Man Xtreme a lot more than the normal person probably would. It's just a solid, just portable way for you to just play Mega Man X. And not to mention the music and the Game Boy aesthetic just looks really good for it. Like, really, really good for it. On top of the fact, fun fact, Mega Man Xtreme had a black cartridge, meaning that you could play it on a regular Game Boy and a Game Boy Color, which I thought was really, really fucking cool. Now, okay, but which I mean is definitely really awesome. So I'm definitely going to put Mega Man Xtreme probably right above Mega Man 2, if I'm being honest. Now, next up is its sequel, Mega Man Xtreme 2. Again, you have a portable Mega Man X game, but you can choose to play as X or Zero, just like you did with Mega Man X4. It's a pretty alright game. It definitely feels more different than any of the other portable games, in my opinion. Despite the fact it just reuses stages, it's just that the thread at the end just felt completely different. But honestly, it's not as good as Xtreme 1. But I will say here, what would I rather prefer playing? Would I rather prefer playing... Yeah, I'd probably play Mega Man 5 over Xtreme 2, if I'm being honest. Okay, now we're moving on to the PS2 era of Mega Man X games. First up, we have Mega Man X7. Now, we all know that I'm that really, really low, rare percentage of people that actually love Mega Man X7. But hear me out. I love the game and I played it a shit ton, but I am not dumb enough to ignore all the problems that the game has. Okay, like its story is bad, its voice acting is terrible, Flame High was a thing, and not to mention the game was not fully polished in terms of like game flow, and I don't know, like there's just a bunch of bugs in this game, and a bunch of the physics don't work the way that they're actually intended. It's a game that I love, but at the same time I know that there's really something wrong with it, and I'm pretty sure everyone's on a consensus with that, so we're gonna have to put it right down here, right above Mega Man Base 2, unfortunately. Next up, we have Mega Man X8. Step in the right direction. It's definitely a fun Mega Man X game to play. The only problem with it is that its sales were affected by the scars left behind by Mega Man X7. On top of which is a damn shame, because X8 is a fantastic game and it does a great job of distinguishing all three characters' playstyles from each other. So if you wanted to play as Zero, X, or Axel exclusively, then you're going to get a completely different experience with each character. So, but sales aside, I am definitely going to put Mega Man X8 I'm probably going to put it right here above Mega Man 3, at least. And now the last Mega Man X game that we have is Command Mission. This is not a platformer, it's just a straight-on RPG. I consider Mega Man X Command Mission one of the best RPG games I've ever played. I know a lot of people won't agree with me on that, but it's a game that I still love, and I would love to see a re-release of this game on modern devices, because I would get all over that shit. I've 100%ed this game multiple times, and I have enjoyed it every single time. So I'm actually going to put Mega Man X Command Mission up here in the PA category. It's fantastic. Okay, coming off of the Mega Man X train, we're going to be moving on to the Mega Man Zero series. Now, the Zero series I kind of have a love-hate relationship with regards to the ranking system. How bosses will not give you their all if you're not a certain rank, which I honestly hate this, because I would prefer to just play the game the way that I want without the bosses having to hold back. But no sense in talking about that unless you have a cheat or something that makes it to where your rank is maxed out no matter what, which I would honestly prefer that. But anywho, Mega Man Zero, it's a pretty solid game. Of course, the Zero games are way harder than the X games. They're not meant for the average casual, so to speak. For Mega Man Zero, it's definitely a fantastic game, but again, the Zero series isn't my favorite. I would at least probably have to put Mega Man Zero, I don't know, I definitely have to put it maybe I would definitely play it over 6. I mean, I was just trying to make the comparison there. Next up, Mega Man 02. It did do things better than 01 did. And also, if you're playing Elfless, you can get sub-tanks, so that is a huge plus. I think 02 is alright, but at the same time, it kind of the story kind of feels unneeded, but they needed something to progress the story along, so I have to give it that. But Mega Man 02, I'm probably gonna have to put that below Mega Man 0 and right below Mega Man 1 and right above Mega Man X6. Mega Man 03, however, hoo boy, Mega Man 03 is probably the best one out of all these. Not only did it improve on the movement and the gameplay and also other things get unlocked, it also made the story come full circle ever since the X series began. So Mega Man 03, it's definitely up there. I'm probably gonna put it right beneath Mega Man 9 in the UH category. Next up, Mega Man 04. This is probably the one I played the least, but they had to end off Zero story somehow. Granted, I'd say the game's shining spot is probably the ending and the final boss, because it basically ends with the fact that Wily always wins, and in order to save the world, the Reploid had to choose to go Maverick by killing a human to prevent all life from being extinguished. So it was definitely a great finale, but the rest of the game just kind of felt meh, in my opinion. The Zero Knuckle also wasn't the best. Probably wasn't the best thing ever. Now, where would I even put 04? I'm probably going to have to put 04 probably right here in the A category. Just right about right here. Okay, now moving on from 0, we have the ZX series. Now, I had played through the ZX series recently through the 0ZX collection, and I have no idea why I'd never played these games before. The ZX games are so freaking good. Starting off with Mega Man ZX, it's a fantastic game, and I love the open world Metroidvania aesthetic that was kind of there with Mega Man 01, but they kind of fleshed it out more with the ZX series. Mega Man ZX is a very solid game. I'm probably going to have to put that definitely right above Mega Man. I would probably definitely put that right above... Damn, where would I even put this? You know what? I say good things about it because it is good. I'm going to have to put ZX up in the GA category. ZX Advent, it's its sequel, and honestly, I think is way better than the first ZX. I think ZX Advent was a fantastic adventure. It was a great game to play. Not to mention that, like, the voice acting was kind of cool. I mean, granted, it gave me those old PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, Capcom voice acting vibes, which, I mean, you couldn't help but think about, considering that Peter Von Grom, the guy who voiced X in X7 right here, also voiced Gray in ZX Advent, so that's still something. Also, Pandora, best girl, just gonna say that and move on. But Mega Man ZX Advent, I will say it is better. I'm probably gonna put it right here at the very bottom of the PA category. And now, we're almost done with the classic universe. First up, we have Mega Man Legends, a 3D Mega Man game. This game is really, really, really good. Mega Man Legends is just this really cool open adventure, and I just love how nobody knows. I don't know. I've always had this thing with stories about like this one character that like nobody really knows, and they're just like, what could you possibly do against them? And then he just goes and absolutely destroys them. And I just love stories that progress like that. Not to mention, it also gave a bit of mystery, considering this takes place at least thousands of years after the ZX series, so there's a lot open for interpretation as to what could have happened between that time. And even then, the story of the Legend series doesn't even give you all of that. So, next up, so Mega Man Legends, we're probably going to put that. It's definitely a very solid game. Probably going to put it up here in the PA category. Mega Man Legends 2, its sequel, it's definitely better in my opinion. And of course, the movement controls and the movement and the movement while battling and like the different types of stuff you can do is just way better. God, I'm bad at explaining this. My point is that you move better in Legends 2 than you do in Legends 1. On top of the fact that the dungeon, there's also more ruins to explore, and especially optional ruins that you get more money and get more weapons, and it was definitely fantastic. I'm definitely gonna have to say Mega Man Legends 2 would probably be right above ZX Advent, if I'm being honest. Okay, and that is it for the classic universe. Alright, now we're going to be moving on to the Battle Network universe, and we're going to start with Mega Man Battle Network 1. This is where the game is completely different from any preceding Mega Man games. They weren't like some kind of 2D game. They were more or less just like an RPG where like you basically have these battle chips. They all do different things, and you draw a hand every time you pull up the custom screen, and you have to try and plan out, strategy. That's the word I'm looking for. Its story also starts out kind of normal, to say the least. Just a kid trying to save the world with his net navi, who he ends up finding out is his brother. And yeah, so I'm definitely going to put Mega Man Battle Network probably up here in the, because it's the first game. There is something called fixed RNG. Like you're manipulating RNG all the time, and there's no way to really like influence that, because if you end a fight the same way every single time, you'll get the same result every single time. I mean, granted, that can be used for speedruns. It's fantastic. I'm definitely going to put Battle Network probably right above Mega Man 3, right here in the A tier. But of course, being if the first game is still rocky around the edges. Mega Man Battle Network 2, I mean, it's the sequel, and they also improved on the folder building more. Probably a little too much, because Wind Fan Gate Man is literally all you need to know about this game. And of course, it's also funny how you have this 5th grader going up against a fucking mafia. Let that sink in. Mega Man Battle Network 2 also introduces the style system, which is something very unique. It's definitely way better than 1, so I'm probably going to have to put it right here at the top of the A list. Mega Man Battle Network 3. I will agree with everyone else saying that Battle Network 3 is probably the best Battle Network game in the series. Not only did it make the story come full circle since the first game, it also felt more fleshed out. The style system felt way more robust, and the Navi customizer was introduced, and the post game is absolutely bonkers. So yeah, this game, Mega Man Battle Network 3, is definitely up there as one of the greatest Mega Man games. So it's definitely going to have to go up here in the UH rank. I am definitely going to have to probably put it above Mega Man 9. Next up, Mega Man Battle Chip Challenge. We have a spin-off here. Now, this is basically its own thing. Kind of follows, like, you know, net navis battling each other. But except it's kind of like on a turn-based... It's like kind of on a turn-based system, where, like, chips are randomly selected in your hand, and then whatever you pull, or whatever you just put in your folder, and then the actions just play out accordingly. It may not sound like much, but it's definitely something very fascinating to watch and engage yourself in. So it's definitely something that you would consider, like, if this game ever got re-released, I'm pretty sure a group of people out there would definitely try and make this some kind of esports scene, because the RNG is probably the most fascinating thing about it. Now, but Battle Chip Challenge, I'm definitely gonna have to put it probably gonna have to put it. Yeah, I'm probably going to go ahead and put it like right below Mega Man ZX in the GA category. Next up is another spin-off, which takes place between Battle Network 1 and 2, and that's Mega Man Network Transmission. So Mega Man Network Transmission, it kind of goes back to the old classic universe's roots. It mixes Battle Network elements with the side-scrolling elements of the older games. Granted, this game was kind of designed in a weird way to where the game starts out balls hard at the beginning but gets way easier towards the end. I don't really know a whole lot of games that have a reverse difficulty curve like this, but it's definitely a fun game regardless, and definitely overlooked. The fact that most people don't consider it like an actual Battle Network game is, I think, kind of dumb, but I mean, it is what it is. But Mega Man Network Transmission, I would definitely have to probably put it up here at the top of SA. It's a very solid Mega Man game, in my opinion. Alright, moving back to the Game Boy Advance Battle Network titles, we have Mega Man Battle Network 4. This was the first Battle Network game that I had ever played, and I fell in love with it. I spent more hours on this game than any other game I had ever played at the time. And this was at the time where I had over 100 hours into Digimon World 2, and I still hadn't beaten it. getting off track, getting off topic. Anyway, but the problem with Battle Network 4, it was definitely a rushed game. In fact, I think the sales for this game is what kind of pivoted Capcom to slowly start. Let me rephrase this better. Mega Man Battle Network 4 most likely started to poison the well in terms of how Capcom would view Mega Man, because during this time frame among Mega Man Battle Network 4's release was where sales were probably at their lowest. So yeah, it's definitely not the best game to come out. And granted, it is a pretty solid game, but again, the new Game Plus mechanic of it, while neat on paper, just didn't flow that well, and it was often frustrating for other people. So unfortunately, Mega Man Battle Network 4 has to go down here in, I'm probably going to have to say it's going to have to go down there in D. Sorry, B and 4. Now, alright, next up is Mega Man Battle Network 5. Now, Battle Network 5 just kind of feels like 4 in my opinion, but to be honest, I think I got more bored and tired playing Battle Network 5 than I did any other Battle Network games, because Battle Network 5 is like the one that I care about the least, if that makes any sense. Granted, it does have a pretty... Now, what am I talking about? Its story was kind of boring me as well. But, I mean, but the concept of playing as other Navis was definitely there, and it felt pretty alright to play someone other than Mega Man. It was definitely something new, that's to be sure. So, and not to mention it ended up getting a remake for the DS, which Battle Network 6 didn't for some reason. I don't know what happened there. But, anywho, Battle Network 5, I'm probably going to have to say it is better than Battle Network 4, but at the same time, it's one that I care about the least. So it's probably going to be right here at the top of the C rank. Now, next up is Mega Man Battle Network 6, the last Battle Network game in the Battle Network series. Now, this one's very solid. I enjoyed playing Battle Network 6. On top of the fact that people still play this game, PvP, to this day on emulator. On top of the fact that these same emulators that run PvP can now run rollback netcode on the game. So the online experience you get playing PvP on Battle Network 6 is probably the smoothest that it will ever be. For the longest time. So Battle Network 6 is pretty solid. It did also wrap up the story, something that the classic series never really ever did. So I do have to give it a plus for that. So I am I would say I'd probably put Battle Network 6. You know what? We'll put Battle Network 6 right above Network Transmission. That's being fair in my opinion. Now, moving on, 200 years after the Battle Network series, and we have the Mega Man Star Force series. As you all know, my personal favorite Mega Man series. Starting off Mega Man Star Force 1. The story, the characters, the gameplay, everything about this game was phenomenal. I've played through Mega Man Star Force 1 countless times, and I have never gotten tired of it. Not even to this day. I will play through every Star Force game again. I do get a bit of frustrations, but that is how it is with games like these. But Mega Man Star Force 1, it's definitely going up here in the PA category. It's definitely above Mega Man 5, I'll tell you that right now. Next up, Mega Man Star Force 2. Mega Man Star Force 2 is a solid game. Biggest problem with it is its story was a bit lackluster because they've tried to fit 2 games into 1 cartridge, meaning that you just play through this short story twice, but not really any normal realistic person would really ever do that. On top of the fact, to compensate for how short the game is, they doubled the encounter rate. So it's definitely a game that gets a bit more aggravating than it is enjoyable at times. So unfortunately, Mega Man Star Force 2, while being a solid game, kind of has to go down a few tiers just because of, well, that encounter rate being so insufferable. And finally, our last game on the list, you all know it and love it. It is Mega Man Star Force 3. Mega Man Star Force 3 takes everything that is literally the Battle Network 3 of the Star Force series, and then some. It literally adds in the noise forms, the fact of combinations you can do when you do Brothers, and since I played through the game again with Brothers through emulator thanks to setting up NetPlay on Melon DS, it's definitely a hell of an experience. It's the kind of experience I've always wanted in a game like this, where me and a select number of other people's we all play through it together. We laugh, we make jokes, we do all this fun shit, and we also power each other up, and we even fight each other for the lulz. It's fantastic. It's literally probably one of the best experiences I have ever had playing a Mega Man game. On top of the fact that the story comes full circle and it ends. I mean, we didn't know it was going to continue because we didn't know that there was a canceled Mega Man Star Force 4. But Mega Man Star Force 3 was the another end of the series. Again, something the classic universe never really ever did. But yeah, I'm Mega Man Star Force 3. I consider probably one of the greatest video games of all time, so it's definitely getting the top spot up here in the UH rank. I love you, Mega Man Star Force. And there we go, everybody. There is my tier list of every Mega Man game. I hope you enjoyed it, and this has been my birthday video. Again, uploads are still just going to be Thursdays and Fridays. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did enjoy it, be sure to leave a like, leave a comment, tell me what you thought. And I'll also post a link to this tier list in case you guys just want to make your own and just like send it, and just like maybe send it to me if you wanted to. Or just like post it online, just tell me what you thought. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this. And if you're new to my channel and you enjoy what I do, you can hit the subscribe button, ring the bell to get notified when I upload, join the Fox Army. I appreciate all the support that you guys give me. Happy birthday to me, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Till then, see you then.